Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. Hang on here. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to tune in. I tried to be all smart and share before I rambled today. So I should be streaming live now through the VIP group and some of my personal groups as well. Today is part 2 of golf tips. And if you didn't join me day before yesterday, I did a more warm-up recovery-based program. And as I'm looking at myself in the camera, I also wore a striped sweater. I don't know what my thing is this week. Today we are also going to sort of take off and progress from where we started with our warm-up and our recovery session. I mentioned in the event to bring a golf club or a rake or a broom, something with a long handle for some of the exercises we're going to be doing. If you are joining me, I see people joining me now. If someone could just let me know if they see and hear me okay on the other end, and I'll get into today's set. I did post, there was a duplicate event. I'm sorry. It seems if I change any details, sometimes it duplicates versus updates the event. So I just want to make sure everybody knows where we are. I will post the previous session after I get off today's live, and warm up and recovery, whether you're getting into the garden and digging in the dirt or going for golf is a good complement for what we're doing today. Today, we're more focused on power and mobility. I am not a golfer, not a good one anyways. I tend to not have the patience and feel like I'm playing baseball more. But I do respect my golfing friends and certainly have supported many of them through their training journeys using vibration plates. And one of the great things about a vibration plate that is applicable for whatever sport you're playing, whether it's, just your day-to-day activities, like I say, in the garden. I've spent the morning shoveling snow. So there's certain body parts or areas that can become deficient when you're not playing your sport regularly, or perhaps it's a weakness in your game and you want to improve it. And certainly with golf, a very common one is glutes and thighs. Flexibility is a big thing. Your warm-up and recovery will help with that. These are also big things in the garden or just working around the yard. You're using that back. You're kind of like a physical crane doing these things all day long. And I got a hair in my mouth. It might seem silly to do strength training if you've been physical all day or you've just done 18 rounds of or 18 holes of golf. But some of the exercises we're going to be working on today, like the warm-up and recovery, I want to keep things brief. We're talking 5 moves. I have 6 today, a little add-on I want to put at the end that involves my AeroFlex Step. And if you're doing certain exercises now and the routine's becoming a little routine, perhaps doing some of the strength positions that you're doing, some of the mobility moves you're doing on your vibration plate are not only going to reduce the amount of time you have to spend doing them, but will increase the effectiveness as well. So my old eyes can't quite see as well as they used to. So our first one is called a rotating swing flow. So before we get into our first exercise, I want you to be a little bit grounded, be mindful of our foot position. We're going to be starting out hip width apart. If when you're on the course, you find you do have a bit of a wider stance, feel free, if you've been using your vibration plate for a while, to take on a little bit more amplitude. But I would prefer a closer foot position so the intensity is not throwing you all over the place, and just focus on good technique. I have never done this routine before today. And sometimes I like doing that because I relate to the audience I teach. I was never an exercise for purpose person until I got into these machines. And I think why I stuck with them is it was quick. They got me out of knee surgery, quite honestly. But I've been with it long enough that it's just become a day-to-day. It's part of my life. My life may change and the sporting activities and the physical activity I do may change, but the basic root is the same. So I always like trying new things. So I'm going to start with my feet hip width apart. The first one, I want you to be mindful of body positioning. So we're breathing. We're standing nice and tall. We're not so tall that it's in the voice. We're going to bend the knees just slightly. So you're feeling just at the bottom edge of that glute and the quads. The knees are not passing the toes, or you're not shifting your weight to the balls of your feet. That's your body trying to cheat and make things easier. You'll notice if you do shift your weight to the toes, the amount of movement up the body is substantially less. The heel is the point of contact. That's what drives the resonance, that movement you feel. So feet are hip width apart, knees are soft, like we're getting ready to sit in a chair, but we're not quite. We're going to take our broom, our shovel, our golf club, whatever it may be, and we're going to do some rotations. We're going to move left and right, starting slowly, and then we're going to pick up the pace a bit. Now, this is a torso twist with a twist because we're using the club. I love the club, as I talked about in the last session. You can really be mindful if you're leaning one way more than the other. It kind of gives you feel if you're not in alignment. So this is a great way not only to boost flexibility, keep the posture more in check naturally until it's something you're used to, but it's kind of fun. So we're going to turn just at the hips. We're not turning at the legs. I want you to just turn, hold, 2, 3, center again. Oh, back, 2, 3. So that's the basic move, but I want it this time, unlike the warm-up series, I want this in a fluid movement. So we're going to go left, keep moving, right, keep moving. I'm adjusting my club simply because I'm too close to the wall. Okay. And once you feel comfortable, you probably see my technique isn't perfect in the mirror. We're all human, guys. I want you to pick it up a bit now. Double time. If your technique's going out the window while you're doing this, then slow it back down. Okay. But ideally, you want to make sure that posture is in alignment. Make sure you're breathing. So starting with that slow rotation of maybe 5 to 10 seconds, then maybe we do another 15 seconds, a little faster. We're pushing for a total duration of 1 minute on each of today's poses. So depending on your golf game and your physical conditioning overall, if you need to break it into smaller, like 30-second reps and maybe do a set of these exercises again afterwards, whatever is more comfortable for you. I still don't have a comment from somebody. Please say hello if you are joining me and you're making comments and I haven't said anything back to you yet. Make sure that you're on the main Lifepro page. That's where the comments will come through to me on the feed. If you're just commenting on one of the feeds I've shared into groups, it doesn't come through to me on this end on the share. So make sure that you're in the main Lifepro public page. So our next one is referred to as a chop, diagonal chop. Diagonal chop. We're going to go high and low. So our club is again going to be raised up over our head. We're going to chop down across the body. I did try this a little bit on the floor. High on the opposite hip. And then we're going to return slow, repeating both sides. So we're starting in the basic stance of what we did before, but we're going to take the opposite side and we're going to twist. 1, and come back up center like you're reaching for that hip. 2, okay? While you're doing this, if you're coordinated enough, come down just slightly and try clenching those glutes. Let's start working on that butt strength, that ham strength, that power. So while we move, I want you clenching, and on the way back up, you can release. So we'd look something like this. Who's saying hi to me? Thank you, Betsy. Nice to see you. All right. I hate it when I ramble and there's nobody receiving it on the other end. It's happened. So we're going to take this hand, and while I'm doing this, I'm clenching my glutes, and I'm going to release now. Opposite side, clenching and release. Okay. Probably a good 2 to 3 reps a side again. No more than a minute on this one. Make sure you're breathing. You tend to have a better range of motion on one side than the other. So maybe you want to give one side some special attention. Okay. We've all got different deficiencies. And even though the exercises that we're working through in most cases on the plate are unilateral, we do have a weak side and a strong side. So sometimes you may want to target one side over another. We're going to get into that with some lunges here a little bit later on. The next one is a reverse chop. So this time we're going to start with our outside hip. We're going to lift diagonally across the body. So imagine we're like doing that, swinging that golf club or that baseball bat, or we're throwing that piece of sod into the wheelbarrow. Very dramatic, very, very dramatic. So we're going to put this back here. We're going to lean and up and back, up and back. Does that make sense? So I'm launching. If I was in a bigger room, it's so much funner to practice. Oh, see, I just hit my glass mirror. So that's the mimic we're trying to make, but we're just trying to engage those muscles in that same fashion. So we're starting back, up, up. It's kind of like a variation on that torso twist. So now we're going to bend on this side slightly and lift. Lift. Okay. 3 per side feels good to me versus alternating. You experiment and see what feels good to you. I do feel that in my sides. I almost feel like I've done a side plank, less the mass on my arms. Okay. Next one we're going to go into is a lunge plus a rotate. So we're going to step into a shallow, not like a super deep lunge. And our feet aren't going to be terribly far apart. We're going to have our club out in front of us, and we're going to rotate towards our front knee. So whichever leg is out first. We're going to do 2 sides here. So here's how we're going to do this one. We're going to put one foot on the step. We're going to have the back foot on the plate. We're going to put the golf club on the floor, right? So I'm doing a bit of a lunge. We're not doing a full swing, but I do want you lifting, turning, lifting, turning. Don't be all slouching. We still want a nice straight spine. Now, add on, now that we know what we're doing, that supporting leg, the one that's on the machine, clench that glute. So we're going to clench the glute, release. No, I don't like that. Clench, release. That feels better. Clench, release. I'm going to have all kinds of debates on this one, but you decide what feels best for you. Clench, release. Then we got to switch sides. Now, I'm not lefty, but you're doing the opposite motion. So mass of the front leg is on that step. Back leg is on the machine. Okay. You could also, if you do not have a step, you could do this with it being your front leg. So that's going to be a completely different feel. So move the machine slightly forward. I'll show you that one next. But for this, again, we're clenching that glute. So I'm relaxed, clench, relaxed, clench, relax, clench. Okay, so again, 3 to 6 on that one. If you do not have the step, and I encourage you, whether you have a step or not, to try what you'll find with these exercises is, depending on whether it's the supporting leg, your back leg, or the stabilizing leg, which is your front leg, it's going to feel different in the groups that it's working. So again, we're doing a shallow squat, our lunge, our feet aren't terribly far apart. You want to make sure that I've already talked 10 minutes. You want to make sure that your feet are not in a straight line like you're on a balance beam. Okay, widen up your stance a little bit. Okay, more natural. So again, release, clench, release, clench. I feel this more in the hamstrings. Okay. You know what? I know I'm going to feel that one tomorrow. So switch that around. You know what's fun about this one is you're so focused on looking good and doing the right swing. The technique on the lower half of the body, there's not really any dynamic movement. So the load, that resonance, the movement really fires and hits you in that supporting glute and hamstring. So again, release the glute, squeeze the glute. Release the glute, squeeze the glute. Okay, 3 to 6. If you're doing both variations, where you're putting the back leg on, I recommend raising yourself up on a step if you're going to do that one. But if you're doing both, a minute each per side works out to like 4 minutes just in that position. So maybe cut each side variation to about 30 seconds for a total of 2 minutes between the variations. See how you do after that. The very last one is a power hinge row, similar to an exercise we did the other night on warm up and recovery. I'm about a third of the way up. I'm at speed 20-ish. My feet are still hip width apart. If at this point you're feeling a little more tolerant, sometimes you kind of loosen up a little bit and you want to take a wider stance, a little bit more shoulder width apart, which is typically more your stance on the course. Stand with your feet, not parallel, but as you come wider, naturally our feet tend to angle out a little bit. So try angling the feet out a little bit, but the heels a little bit more. You'll feel more natural in your stance on this one. We're going to hinge at the hips. So this one is going to be the glutes again. So knees are slightly bent just to get into the position. Once you're bent over at about a 45 degree, lock those legs up and you're going to feel it. Not lock them, but almost. You're feeling it right in the butt cheeks on that one. So we're going to raise this club out in front of us. And on this one, we're going to pull towards and push. Okay, while we're doing this, on the draw, we're going to clench those glutes. So 1, 2, 3, clench the glutes, release. Clench the glutes, release. Clench the glutes, release. Love it. If you are, I'm kind of here now. I said 5 moves. But if the goal is, you want a little bit more power, you're trying to boost the calories, you're not going to get to another workout today, nothing's saying you couldn't, turn that into a squat. Give yourself one really mean last push till you can't anymore. If you did want to get a little bit more of a metabolism burn. The add-on I was going to do today, so let's call this official number 6. It's not on the sheet. I'll put this back in place. My worst part about golfing is my putting game. I don't have my putter with me. But I do encourage, one of the great things that you'll learn the more you play with your vibration plate, I stress it's just an environment. So what you do in that environment is very much driven by your imagination and your range of motion. So, no, it's still not far enough away. You probably didn't even need a step for this. But, if teeing up is something that you're working on and you've got the room, take your machine out on the deck and, practice that full range of motion. You don't need to have necessarily a ball there, but have something you can fixate on the ground. Whereas the posture, if you're doing exercises, even just working on your breathing, doing them on the surface of the plate is going to enhance the exercise benefits. You're targeting more muscles, those fast twitch, those reactive muscles. And I think you'll find even if you do a fitness type exercise, a strength exercise before your game, keep it brief, but I think you'll find it kind of wakes up the system and it will improve the swing. Be very cautious to not overdo it. The last thing I want to do if you're kind of returning to using your vibration plate, or this is all completely new and you're not doing fitness type stuff right now, make sure that, maybe do the exercise one day or after the golf game, alternate. I'd hate to deplete, and have you have no strength or stability or things like that. We can overdo it and deplete our energy reserves. So depending on where you're at health-wise. Today's set could be combined with the warm-up and recovery ideas that I did. Any of the 3 to 5 move kind of workout things I do, Any of the exercises in them can absolutely be a standalone on their own. If you've got a troublesome back, or you just want to, warm up those glutes or gain some flexibility, sometimes you've been out in the garden all afternoon picking weeds and your back's killing you and it just needs some attention. So even 1 or 2 exercises that sometimes it's what you like and what feels best to you, not necessarily always what I've suggested. So experiment. It's that time of year where you may be doing other things. And for those of you that like a longer workout and prefer, some people like a longer exercise or wellness session because it's your mental escape too, right? So you can do, the whole 5 exercises we did Thursday night in combination with these at a minute each. You'd be 10 minutes. A lot of times people ask me, well, how long should I use it? If the goals are fitness, you want to make sure that you're getting to fatigue. I know many of you like to go longer and more often or longer and longer, but the whole premise of a vibration plate is to reduce the amount of time you spend exercising. It does more in less time. So if the technique is there and you're truly being honest and challenging yourself, if you're doing a mean squat, that last one that I did, you shouldn't be able to last a minute, let alone 5. So, or 10. So be realistic. If you are getting to the point in your fitness exercises where, all you can really do is go longer and longer, change the game, mix up, add some accessories, put a golf club behind your neck when you're doing your squats, mix it up. And I think you'll find not only is it more fun, but you're going to bring those durations back down to more manageable levels. It is a preference to a degree. I'm very busy. I don't have lots of time for, an hour every day downstairs in my gym. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I'm down here 6 hours and all I'm doing is hitting my machine for a couple minutes for the shoulders or my back because it's bugging me and I got to hunch over my computer for a couple hours. Yeah. So don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. Not often necessarily, but give some new moves. Let's say a couple 3 weeks. To certainly on the strength stuff, you might notice strength and bone density and weight loss and some of those things always tend to be more longer term benefits, but short term. Using your plate for a few minutes before other activities, the golf game, the soccer game, whatever it may be. For those of you needing, you can boost energy levels that way, but it does prime the central nervous system for whatever you're going to do to it next. So you're going to be more effective in your game. You're going to be more relaxed in that massage session, whatever it is that after is, and maybe it's some more vibration plate time. But it's it's okay that you're late, Betsy. I didn't make it at all yesterday with the weather. So thank you for joining me. I did have a reschedule. I was supposed to appear last night, but we had these gale force hurricane winds and woke up to about 1/2 foot of snow this morning. So it's awesome. So I'm still in snow shoveling season, but for those of you who are able to get out on the course, take advantage of these. There should be a golf or there should be a vibration plate or 2 in every clubhouse across North America, anywhere there's, a waiting line, like an airport, or there's just so many ways that we think of it as this exercise thing that we have to do sometimes. And really it's such a good enhancement to just whatever your day may be presenting in your 9 to 5. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the golf and gardening 2-part sessions. I know Roseanne has some golf sessions planned coming up as well. It is that time of year. So if you are getting out on the course, you can overdo it with any activity. Be mindful if you're just returning to your vibration plate, please do not pick up where you left off. Be conservative on your time and your intensity, and give the body a couple of weeks just to get used to it before you start going crazy and overdoing it. It's the worst thing to do is over exercise yourself and be sore and not be able to go dig in the dirt when the sun does start shining. So thanks for joining me. There are still some deals. I think the sauna sale has ended. Saunas used to be a seasonal thing, but they're just so awesome for detox and relaxation, and many in my groups use them to manage all kinds of different symptoms. So check that out. It may be ended last night. I could be wrong on that. There is still a cashback or in-store credit offer on some of Lifepro's top selling models for vibration plates. And honestly, there's just too many things on the site and too many slash 21% off, 15% off, all of those things. So there's some deals. Take a look. And thank you for joining me today. Vicky says it's freezing out here too. She rode 10 miles on the outside bike. Vibration plate was my warm up. Nice. Love it. I've got two very consistent ladies here. I appreciate you guys joining me on a Saturday. I think it's getting to that time of year, and you guys can give me some love and some feedback. But usually at night, I'm like so busy because everybody works and it's the only time. But I'm starting to find my evening sessions get a little less busy. So I'm wondering if it's that time of year, people are getting outside. I think I jinxed myself because, like I say, I snowed today. But if you've got some feedback, whether it's on times, topics, whatever is of interest to you this time of year, please let me know. Have a great rest of your weekend. Don't work too hard. Thanks, Betsy and Vicky and the other people that are here watching quietly. If you have a question for me personally or something related to today's session, please tag me at Debby with a Y. For sure, I'll get a notification. Sometimes if you just make a comment and then we all get talking and the conversation takes off, sometimes I don't get the notification because I get a few of those in a day. So just make sure to tag me at Debby with a Y. Whether that's on a recorded basis later or now. And again, have a great rest of your weekend. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I've got a Q&A session. It's been a while, so I'm going to do an open common vibration plate questions. I'm going to cover a few of maybe the top 3 or 5 that I get, and those change from time to time. So that's always a little bit interesting for me. I love the feedback. You guys are getting more and more educated about your plates every day, and keep those questions coming. I dropped a post in the feed today from the VIP group for 2 reasons. Some of you are not in the VIP group, so I wanted you to have a way to get there. If you are applying to be in the VIP group and you haven't been accepted, or you've been waiting forever and ever and ever, please make sure you answer the 4 required questions. If you do not wish to give your email or something of that nature, just put something in. Don't leave it blank. If you're not answering all, it is automated. Lifepro's gotten busy to the point where there is somewhat of an automated approval. So just make sure that you complete those 4 questions and you should have less issue getting in. The post that I shared, once you get in there, I've also shared on my pages. There's a lot of talk about things being bad and harmful, and oh my word, anytime anybody's talking negative and like fear really bothers me. I've been 20 years with these vibration plates. I work with children with cerebral palsy and other special needs as young as 6 months. And I think the more fear that you hear, the more you need to be aware that somebody's just trying to get you to pull out your credit card. There is no such thing as the best vibration plate, because there's too many different ways that you apply it between exercise and clinical applications, and it depends what you're using it for. So I will say, as someone well versed and one of the old dogs out there, both vertical and oscillating absolutely have their place. But my recommendation for every situation, if you only have to pick one, is oscillating. It's more available, it's more affordable, and bottom line, it's more natural. It's how you move across the floor, and it's that body that you're trying to fix. Lineal vertical absolutely has its place, but very few people have actually experienced a true vertical machine. So, when you see sites where there's these big, awesome machines in the pictures, and the one they're trying to sell you is the size of your toaster, it's not the same with lineal. The amplitudes are a different discussion. Oscillating, you can get away with inexpensive to a degree. It's not that they're cheap. It's the movement that they create. They're more easily manufactured to specs that are more reflective of the research than the average consumer lineal vertical type plate being sold today. Anyone that has questions regarding that, whether you are a consumer, researcher, manufacturer, don't matter. I'm happy to have those conversations. Reach out to me directly. Have a great rest of the day. Sorry for the tangent, guys. Share the post that I shared in the feed today. Appreciate it. Have a good day.